This morning, I'd like to talk about something I've been looking at for a long time, and it may aggravate some of you ladies out there. It has to do with Brenne Brown and boundaries, right? Follow her. If you don't know her, follow her, listen to her, learn from her. She's awesome, talks about vulnerability, and what she has to say is great. But what I want to point out is that listen to what she has to say in its entirety, okay? That and you have all these gurus talking about the I am statements. You know, I am great, I am wonderful, I am, and so on and so forth. And that's all you got to do, and your life's going to be wonderful. Well, you got to know the whole story, right? You can't just say I am great and become great. There's other things that have to happen, and that's my point. But with the boundaries, boy, we can take them too far. You can really take boundaries too far. You can take them to the extreme where they become harmful, not only to other people, but to yourself. Learn a whole story. For instance, you don't like being touched, and you really have boundaries around your personal space. All right, that's great, and people really need to take that into consideration, you know. But so I go up to hug somebody, and they don't like being touched, then all of a sudden I'm turned off. That's a negative for me. It could turn into a negative situation for you. We need more love in society. We need to be touching, hugging, loving each other. But I understand if you don't like being hugged, then let somebody know that up front if you can. And then it's more understood, nobody's feelings get hurt, okay? So don't be touched when you don't want to. Don't get me wrong. But also, you know, if you tell your significant other, hey, I need my personal space. I don't like being touched. That could run into a sexless marriage, right? And maybe you don't care. But you didn't set that boundary in the beginning, right? It's 5 years later and you all of a sudden decide you're going to set this boundary. That's a problem. That's a problem. Then you wonder, oh my goodness, me and my husband haven't had sex in a year. What's wrong with me? And maybe you go and you cheat on your husband because your husband's not having sex with you anymore. All because he's respecting your boundaries. See how it can kind of backfire? But set the boundaries up front. Set that expectation up front of any kind of boundary, if there's any way possible. Don't be excessive with boundaries. Think in your mental mindset when you're setting these boundaries. If you're in a bad mood and you set a boundary, it might not be a great boundary. It might be a poor boundary. Let's say you don't like playing golf, right? Well, I like playing golf. I have an opportunity to advance my career dramatically only by going and playing golf with a CEO. But I have to bring the wife. The wife says, nope, that's one of my boundaries. I don't like playing golf, so I'm not going. What's more important to you? You've been getting on to your husband because he's not advancing his career. In fact, you've downed him for it. You've said you're worthless. You're no good because you're not advancing in your career. So you want him to advance in his career, and you've specifically told him that. But now this is it's hypothetical, the only opportunity for you to advance your career. Yet, because your wife's boundaries, it's not going to happen. So be realistic, right? Be realistic. I'm sure that y'all could come up with some examples. Set boundaries. Be vulnerable. But realize when they've gone to the extreme. Because it could cause major, major problems in your life. And you're going to wonder why happened. Oh, I hope all this makes sense and you're not taking it wrong. Boundaries. Mm. Oh, one thing, Brenne Brown. Okay. She sets all these boundaries. If you just read or listen to a little bit of it, she said, I don't like wearing suits, and I'm not going to wear a suit. People ask me to wear a suit. I won't do it. They'll have to find somebody else. That's great because she's in a position to be able to do that now. But in the past, I bet she wore a suit because she had to, yes, to make somebody happy, to meet a certain dress code or something at work. She had to do that, whether it's a boundary or not. Or if your job requires that you wear a suit and that's your no, that's your just say no thing, well, you're going to have to find another job. Because that's just the way the world works. Everything is not here to make you happy. It's one of the problems in society today. Just do what makes you happy. If it don't make you happy, don't do it. You can. You can do that. But you better find an alternative is all I'm saying. So, anyway, just everybody remember, we were all born for greatness because we were born of greatness. Now go prove it.